growth therapy.
Do I need to do my radio voice? Chocolate Sundays.
Okay, we're ready.
Delilah. Hey, it's Delilah. Did you guys ever listen to Delilah? Did your
Hey
mom
there, Delilah.
No, I mean like Delilah on radio. She always gave advice. She was like, smooth jazz, Delilah. Do you guys know?
No.
Oh, some white
Yeah, was
shit.
it just...
No, I think Delilah was nationwide. She was like one of the original XMers, I think. Delilah on Delilah on the radio. Okay, hold on. Yeah, American radio personality author. Fuck, she was on Oprah. Yeah, she was like
Red Bull over there.
she
I have a producer here, an assistant. It's my Red Bull from the day. Okay, well, let's get into it.
Okay, sorry. Plug yourself.
You haven't listened to the show forever. They listen. Yep. It's just like the boring
first episode. Hi!
Whoa! Surprise!
It's a holiday miracle. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Woo!
And this is my gift
to you,
to my listeners.
Yay!
I'm back. Well, for now. This is just like a surprise. Well, no, I need to do my intro. I'm off.
Okay, start over again.
I need
Shake
to
it off.
practicing.
Shake it off.
This is weird. Okay. Hi, guys. It's me, Stefanie Maegan, here on Sirocco Therapy. And we got Roseanne.
Woo! Roseanne?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Not the government name.
Did you know your name is Roseanne on my phone?
Why?
Because I think
my full government name?
I think you shared it as that.
No.
Yes.
There are only 3 people in this world that actually you're now the 4th. It is my father, my sister, and Lauren. And now no one calls me Roseanne. Not a lot of people don't even know that's my real name.
Yeah. Well, you shared it to me one time. Like your phone shared like your Roseanne name. Yeah.
My phone outed me? That's so rude.
And so I was like, sure, I'll save it as Roseanne Barr. Just kidding. Roseanne.
People think that's my real last name. Roseanne Bars. They really thought, because that was like my Instagram handle for a really long time before it became Rosetta Stone.
But she's also like racist.
Yeah, and that's
so
why
you don't
I
want
changed
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be associated.
No, not really.
Well, you guys, this is a little peekaboo surprise episode because I don't know. Because I just want to say hi. Maybe just like update each other on life and just.
With a live audience?
With a live audience. Woo! Nina's in the audience.
Nina's in the house.
Because moving forward, I need a producer or like someone here to help me because it's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Like, one, I have to do my hair and makeup, which takes about like 2 hours sometimes. And then I have to find an outfit. I got to clean my room. I got to clean my bathroom. I got to like set up and...
Take the cats out.
Yep.
They keep coming in every time you close the door and open the door.
I gotta eat in between that. It's like a whole thing. And then, so I just need someone here to just make sure like.
And she beautifully handed you a Red Bull. When you were like, oh, I need a drink. Job. And then it was just like, oh my God, it was like Vanna White. It's like, oh, it was perfect.
So I had to like teach her everything of like the setup and just like, I guess like shadow a recording.
It's great.
But I'm like I'm not the best at like managing people because I just will do things myself. So I'm just like, just follow what I'm doing and then eventually just do it.
But I think that's great. I mean, knowing just again, watching the blessed gift that is your guys' friendship and dynamics, it's just really nice because I could see when you were adjusting things, you like would come behind and just be like, like politely fixing it, and like you would put something, it would fall, and she would just pick it up. It was just very nice.
But that's literally
so
like
cute.
Nina is just like
mom.
She's my best fucking friend. Like that's why it just makes sense for her to be here. I think moving forward because one, honestly. She is Sirocco Therapy.
She is, wholeheartedly.
She has seen everything. Like, once she's seen the show start from, like, scratch.
Yeah.
She's seen me go through every single fucking phase. And she's met, like, 95% of the guys that I've, like, fucked or, like, dated.
Hey.
And she's seen it. Like, she knows.
You met Morgan?
Yeah, she's met Morgan.
Ew,
she's met
sorry.
Kevin. She was friends with Kevin.
I want to meet Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin.
Oh, I want to meet Kevin. I'm so jealous. God, I want to meet him. I'm sorry. I have so many questions. Okay,
I know.
anyways.
I want to meet him so bad too.
Again.
I
want to meet.
I want to meet him again. I want to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
But so she just knows everything, and she just knows the show. She's listened to like literally probably every episode. And so it just makes sense for her to be here because she just knows.
Yeah.
You know? So
I love that.
It's a little nod to Nina.
It's a little nod to Nina. And Nina was so kind enough to help us figure out what we're going to do for this special episode. And we thought it'd be such a cool thing to talk about the updates, talk about where you've come from, where you're going.
Where I've come from.
Like in the sense of like, you know,
yeah, like maybe highlights of the
like
year.
what you liked this year, apparently nothing. You liked
honestly,
nothing.
I think my content this year was
mid.
I don't want to like, it wasn't bad. It just was like, it felt redundant and and I don't even know if it's just like the content in itself, but I think just like doing it felt that way. And so that's
why you took a break.
That's why I took a break.
Yeah.
So that's why to me, I'm just kind of like, I'm proud of it. I'm always proud of everything that I do because I think that I did do great things. I mean, there was like Love Island episodes I've had.
Yeah, famous ones.
Which were like the top listened episodes. And I've done shrooms with Nathan on the show, which I feel like I still think about and laugh about till this day.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had just like a lot of funny memories, even just like with you and honestly, it's like I'm spending time with my friends. So like it really, it's not a bad thing, you know? I think what it was just like I was so hard on myself this year because
yes, you were.
I was like,
Nina is nodding her head yes because we are in agreement. You were so mean to our friend,
so mean, and I was just like, I don't know if it was just the numbers obviously play a part, and I'm always thinking like I need to be at a certain place or like, you know, I start kind of because the show is so personable, it just hits me in
closer to home
that it would for anything else
because you don't know where you start and the podcast ends and everything hits closer to a nerve where you're like, oh, is this a representation of me as a person? And like it got messy.
I'm just like, does no one like me anymore? You know, you start thinking these things and then you spiral and you know there's comments and there's people like making judgments on how I look and things that I say or do, whatever it is, and it's just like there's always. And as a part of like putting myself out there, I understand it. Like there's just, you're kind of putting yourself up for people to make their own judgment.
Yeah, but also people can shut the fuck up.
They could, 1000%. But like, let's be real, that's not going to happen anytime soon. So a part of what I do is like having to like constantly do the work on myself and also to like remind myself to like cancel out that noise.
Yeah.
So it was great to do this like break because I felt like for once I wasn't just like stressing about like numbers or like how much I was making from the show or like what people were saying and like what people want to hear from me and stuff. And like I think that it was like super beneficial. Like I really do think that like my happiness is I feel a lot happier.
Yeah. Yeah. You got your breather, you know,
which kind of sucks, right? Because it's like the one thing is like what I had to kind of like stop doing what I love to feel happier. Like that does suck.
Does it though? Because it results in a positive thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I think it doesn't suck. It just sounds weird.
Right.
Because you're like, I have to stop doing what I love to find happiness. And it's like, no, you just had to like, you also weren't in love with it. It's what you love, and you kind of were falling out of love of it. So you had to kind of like step back to reappreciate it again.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was. It wasn't, you were not, like when you texted me talking about this episode, like I could tell how excited you were in the text. I have not seen you like that in a very long time because you'd be like, oh, we have to record. And I would be like, oh no, my friend feels like this is an obligation. Yeah. So it was, I don't think you had to stop your love. You just were stopping it from it becoming like something you hated. Yeah. And like you were going to resent. It's like a relationship. You know what I mean? You were like, oh, I got to get out of this relationship before I start resenting this person. So I think it was really smart. And also I've never seen you in this like break I've never seen you, and Nina, correct me if I'm wrong. Also, I've never seen you more motivated to be like, I have so many more ideas.
Oh,
it
for
was like
sure.
It opened up this creative block that you were having.
Yeah.
And you needed to be like, oh shit, like, let me just like step back and see the bigger picture. You can't stand too close to the painting or you're not going to see the whole painting.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like the day that I dropped like my last episode, which was with you.
Where I made you cry.
Yeah. I mean, with every episode. You probably make me cry later because I was just like, whatever. But I remember like the day that it dropped, all of a sudden it was like, my mind was just like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. Like, it was like super excited. I was like writing down all my ideas, and I was like even telling Brian about it. He's like, it hasn't even been 6 hours since you've like had this actual break. Like, what's going on? I'm like, well, because I needed it, because I needed to like.
So you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't know what you have until you're told like that's going to be taken away from you. And then you're like, wait, I was just kidding. I'm not. And so it was like, in a weird way, it just was exactly what you needed. The feeling kind of sucked because it was awkward, but then it was a blessing in disguise. And so, and now you're doing the surprise episode, still going to go on a hiatus and then come back in January when you feel like it.
Well, not January. I'm going to probably come back. I don't know yet. February.
Okay, leave them on their toes.
Well, because it's like, because I have all these ideas.
Yeah. See?
I'm trying to, I guess, what's coming next is like, I don't think the podcasts and like the conversations are necessarily going to change. I think it's just like how I'm going to like, I need my inhaler. I felt like a little, is it right there? Do. It's like the winter time.
Well, there's been those crazy fires. I don't know if you saw, but the air quality right now is at like 57.
Oh, really?
Something. Yeah. Severe weather clearing.
Okay, that makes sense. Because
air
like
quality.
Okay, what was I saying?
You were saying about.
I don't want to cut it.
Excited.
Oh,
ideas.
yes.
Oh, when you're coming back, February.
Yes.
You're thinking February because.
I was thinking February because I just want to like enjoy the holidays.
Yep.
My birthday's in January. I feel like the new year starts and you start being like, okay, I need to get on it, you know?
Yeah.
But in reality, sometimes we need to like relax from the holidays.
Yeah. We need that lobby room waiting period.
Exactly.
Just like relax,
so
chill.
I'm just not trying
regroup.
to like, exactly. I'm not trying to like rush it because I know holidays is always like a lot. And I just kind of like want to ease my way in, you know? And I think that's kind of like maybe what I want to do more with the show is like, or how I want to like, not perceive it, but like how I want to move about it. Like, I think that like I kind of want to go back to how it was in the past where it was like I was making no money and it was just simply off of passion.
Yes.
You know, it was just like, it was like just
girl, that's
off. It was off of it, just pure excitement.
Yep.
Because I think for so long, because my career and how I made money was always just like so like a big question mark of like where am I gonna go in my career, you know? That I put so much pressure on the show to be that answer for me, to like give me that future.
Yeah.
And I think that like working with like Tia and like doing other clients and stuff like that had made me realize that like, oh, I don't need to put that much pressure on the show. Like I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You know, and like whatever I do now. Like I feel like I know myself more now to not like go for a job that's gonna like fire me. Like I know I'm gonna do a great job at whatever I do moving forward because I know what to go for. Yeah. You know, and like I know what I'm good at. So I think it's like releasing the pressure of like BGT, please be
the answer,
and to be the reason why I become rich or the reason why I become stable or happy or whatever it is, you know, like I think I'm just like letting go of that and just being like, no, like, but in the beginning, you're just doing that. You weren't making a dime.
Ryan and I were just talking about this before the podcast. And capitalism like, ruins everything. And I'm like, I just want to just do this for fun and not be like, when are you going to become mainstream? When is that 60 million Spotify fucking deal? You know what I mean? You see all these other success stories and I'm like, why is that not me? Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, fuck that shit.
Yeah,
like
the comparison will kill you.
Like, I don't give I really want to just move forward being like, I don't give a fuck how many listens I get.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck how many views I get. I just want to do it because I'm like having fun.
Yeah.
So that I feel like once I've kind of like started realizing I wanted to approach it like that is when I started to feel more creative.
Yeah. Because you release it.
Yeah.
When capitalism is literally the death of creation sometimes. Because if you equate your value to an actual currency, then you're just going to be like, great, I'm never going to be successful unless I get $70 million or whatever it is.
Right.
And then you're just like, and when your passion becomes your paycheck, as I have been dealing with my entire life as a writer who now it makes her living as that, then I have experienced the worst writer's block of my entire life because I'm like, oh shit, if I'm not writing, then I'm not making money. And if I'm not making money, and then it's just like, nope, let it go.
Right.
Just like,
let it go.
Let the fucking chips fall as they may. Do not let capitalism get the best of you. And the thing is I feel like.
And that's hard to do.
Ooh, it's a lot easier said than done.
A lot easier said than done. Like that's like constant work that I'm going to have to continuously do as I like make more shit, you know?
I am broke enough to think that money is going to solve all my problems. Okay. And I'm never probably going to let go of that. I'm like, no, money will solve all my problems.
Yeah.
It will clear all my parents' debt. It will clear all my medical stuff. Like money's going to solve all my problems. In this current economy, I need to rethink about the situations, you know, that can just sit in the corner. It's not going to be like what you said motivates you moving forward. But I think to what you're getting onto is the idea of when and if the money comes, what's missing right now is your authenticity and how real this podcast is.
Yeah.
It being who you are is exactly why people come to it. And they will eventually come to it because of that. And like, then the money will come. And then it's great because you know who you are. You just needed to be reminded of the confidence you have within yourself and the confidence you needed to reinstill in the show.
Right.
And that's all it was.
And it's, so I feel like that's where I'm at mentally. And of course, there are going to be some moments of weakness where I'm like, you know, because that just happens. Comparison, there's comments, there's whatever.
Corny people gonna be corny.
But like right now I feel, what'd you say?
Corny people gonna be corny.
Exactly. They said horny people are gonna be horny, and I was like, sure.
Oh, that too.
I
think that too.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like most people are just upset because they just need to have an orgasm.
Literally.
You know what I mean? Just relax.
Exactly.
Release some tension.
Just release some tension.
Just fucking beat off. You know, it's fine. Walk it off. Anyways.
So that's like my mentality going into the new year.
Oh man.
And so
this
again,
makes me
like
so happy.
Thank you.
I love this.
I know. I'm really excited because I feel like, so again, like I feel like the podcast and the discussions are not going to change. Like it's still going to feel this vibe. I still want people to feel like
it's a fun podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jasper needs to chill. My cat is like, just let him in maybe.
No, we're not going to let the patriarchy win today. Jasper.
Okay.
Stop it.
And he's like so distracting.
Oh, it worked. Bitch, I speak cat.
I know, bitch. I speak pussy.
I speak pussy.
Ooh.
Oh, see?
Aw. But okay, so
great with kids. I'm great with kids.
I love that. Stepmom.
Oh, I can't wait to be a stepmom.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's why I was so excited when I was talking to that guy that had a kid. It's not going anywhere, but I was like, damn.
What's happening with that?
That's fine. I don't know. It's just not going anywhere. It's just like the holidays are just such a weird time to date.
Yeah.
As someone who is not about relationships.
Yeah. Like, how do people navigate dating through the holidays?
You just don't.
Like, how did we do it? How did I do it back in the day?
I think it was we had a roster. Or because like for me, it was like when I go home for the holidays, I had like my jump offs that were like waiting there. So it was like, that's what I tapped into.
Yeah.
But like now it's just different. Zoo tight. Ooh, that was a, ooh, I love like that one.
Blood came out.
What'd you say?
Like, it's not.
I think you said blood came out of your mouth.
Oh my God, no.
That sounded like a real
that was a
real
one. Yeah, like it was a release.
Your throat was involved.
Yeah.
I love a sneeze with your throat and your nose and your.
I feel like when I sneeze, everything gets involved. Like I feel like
your ears pop and everything.
Yeah, like it's like I have to yell to like let it out.
Oh,
sometimes.
I do love. I'm not gonna lie. There are some times where I'm out in public where I'm like, I feel a sneeze and I'm like, I'm gonna make this obnoxiously loud. Just because I'm like,
because sometimes it's just like this. Wow,
yeah,
it's
I have
like
nothing
an orgasm.
to say, so I'm just gonna sneeze really loud. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna do like a just to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get attention. And then just keep walking. You know? It's healthy getting attention.
Oh my
but I'm
God.
like realizing that dating in the month of like
December.
November and December, like the holidays.
Yeah.
First of all, the apps, sea creatures. Like it's the bottom of the barrel because these are all the people that are like desperately looking for people for the holidays, or like a lot of married
people are
men
desperately
on there.
looking? Do people desperately
but I
look
think
for
it's like,
someone for the holidays?
I think that the people who are booed up during the holidays, and then
it's just like the leftovers from the
the
year.
leftovers are on the apps.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of married men on the apps where I'm
Whoa.
like, bro, I went to your Instagram and you're married. Like it's very much like it's a dark time on dating apps and during the holidays. So I've just deleted all the apps. It's also for like great for my mental health because I'm just like, I can't be on the apps no more.
It's too much.
It's just, I mean, it's always been a, part-time job with shitty benefits, like always, but like to another extent. And I've like realized that in my 20s, I truly was like just having sex. I wasn't dating in my 20s. I was having sex with men and then just like moving on.
Yeah.
And then got in a relationship literally like the last few years of my 20s. And now in my 30s, I'm actually dating for like the first time in my life. It's something that like a lot of my friends
define dating.
Okay, so I'm learning that dating is someone you have sex with that you're nice to. I'm nice to this guy.
Someone you have sex with that you're nice
like
to.
I care about his feelings.
But do you like get to know him?
Yeah, I'm getting to know him. I'm asking him questions.
How about no sex and just getting to know someone? Is that dating?
Why? That's a friend. That sounds boring. That sounds absolutely. Wait, I'm sorry. No.
Well, there's people who like, being celibate, but they want to date and find their man, but they don't want to like give it up too quick.
That's great for them. I love that color on them. Me? Not great on my skin tone. Absolutely not. I'm not gonna like talk to a man
and not have sex with him.
Have sex with him.
Yeah.
No. Weird. Kick him to the curb. But I'm like
Yeah.
learning, and I feel like especially during the summer when I had like the whole thing with Brooklyn's weird ass, and like realizing that I'm like, okay, fine. I'm trying to date in the sense that I'm going to continuously see one person for a set period of time just to literally fuck around and find out. I think that's like my whole dating thing right now is I'm fucking around finding out, literally and figuratively.
That's the best way to date.
But I am surrounded by a lot of women, mostly women in my life that are like, so what are you expecting from this person? And I'm like, nothing. I truly am not expecting much from this man. If respect and communication, that's probably the bare minimum. But like, I'm not dating to marry. Don't plan on getting married. I'm only 35. I'm so young for marriage, like too young for marriage. I'm not. No, come on. That's
honestly,
I'm a baby.
Marriage is overrated. Why the fuck do people need to get married?
Taxes. Taxes. Literally taxes.
And religion.
And I think if you have kids, it helps because it's also just like, going like figuring out my parents like I
do want to get married. Don't get me wrong. I would get married to Brian. Only because I met Brian and I love him.
Yes. And
I like him.
And I think again, my whole thing is that I feel like sometimes this happens sometimes when people come from me in the comments and everything. I'm not saying this is for everyone. This is literally people who agree with me and see a lot of themselves in me or are experimenting in their own idea of being like, oh, there's more than one way. I'm just saying, hey, I'm the path less traveled. You do not need to have a man by the time you're 35. You do not need to be married by the time you're 35. You don't have to have kids by the time you're 35. You could be 35, thriving, and doing fine. Like, I am set. If anything, I feel like I am so rich in my friendships. I have phenomenal friends. And if I have a man, and I've said this before, if I have a man, he will be 7 or 8 on the call lists. He'll be 7 and 8 in the billing.
I don't think I believe that.
I don't. Over my mom and dad and my sister?
Oh.
That's 4 right there.
Well, family goes into 1.
I don't know. Have you met my parents and my sister? Like, I don't think I can like separate them. You know what I mean? Like, I'll put my mom and dad in 1.
Yeah.
And then I'll put Claire. Claire deserves her own category.
Okay.
Claire is Love that bitch.
Because Rose, I've seen you in a relationship and how like hard you love. I doubt that they're going to be 7th place on your list.
But those were unhealthy relationships.
Okay.
And I'm learning when I prioritize a man too high, that's where I fuck up. And that is the one thing that I've learned about the comparison between someone like Moscow and someone like the Southern Gentleman. Southern Gentleman was truly one of the best relationships I've ever been in my entire life. It only lasted 9 months because I realized I'm not ready for this. It was too much too soon. It made me realize that although it was perfect on paper, I still have a lot of more things that I need to work on that I'm not ready to settle. Moscow, I basically was convincing this man to believe that love exists. I'm learning that Moscow, in a lot of therapy and a lot of self-discovery and conversations that I'm having with Sarah Ryan, shout out to my therapist, that he was gaslighting me for 3.5 years. And he was extremely emotionally abusive. I have never opened up to a lot of the things that man said to me. I know, because you started just recently have been started telling me inklings of things that he would say and do. And I'm like, wait, that's not okay. And me being and that's so not someone you would ever be with. So I'm very confused. And I was too. But keep in mind, oh my God, I lost the game. I'm bringing up rape. We started a game where I was going to see how long we could go into this podcast without talking about the election, rape, and then we're 30 minutes in. Okay, so there you go. It's always 30. It's always the second half of the show is when one of these things gets. What do you mean? Anyways, I wanted to do my Ice-T impression. Anyways, but it was my sexual assault had happened, and then I met literally a month after. Ooh, cock out his name. Said it. Moscow. I met Moscow a month after, and then immediately stayed in that relationship because I was too scared to deal with what happened with me. I was deeply embarrassed by what happened to me. Didn't want to believe that it happened because I'm not that type. What? No, I'm so sexually. I love sex. I'm totally fine. You saw me. I was spiraling. I was pretending that everything was fine and I was not doing well. That was a dark time. And I stayed in that relationship and I loved that man so hard because I was trying to secretly love myself. And in that relationship, I fell out of love with him and fell in love with myself enough to be like, bro, I don't need you. And in therapy, I realized that I was I hated that girl. I was telling my therapist, I was I hated the girl that dated Moscow. And after we started talking, she was like, what did you hate about her? And then I found myself being well, Moscow would say these things to me, And she's like, doesn't sound like you hated her. Sounds like you might have hated him. And I was like, oh shit. Dang. Because in my mind, I dated that man because girls with boyfriends don't get raped. That's the main reason why I stayed with him, because I was so terrified. And he was the first man who could touch me where I wasn't wasn't triggered. But I also wasn't healing from what happened to me. And one of the most fucked up things that man said to me was when I opened up to him about my sexual assault, he said, for someone who sleeps with so many men, how did you know that time was rape? And if a friend was to tell me that, I'd be like, bitch, I would have drop kicked his nuts right then and there. Right. But I, being in such a dark, fucked up place, was like, you have a point. And I believed him. And I stayed there. And I lived in that for 3.5 years. Then when we were he was talking about marriage at the beginning of our relationship. And then as we dated, he basically was like, well, I don't want to get married. But I mean, I guess maybe I do want to get married. I just don't want to marry you. He said that? Yeah. And then, I started doing, I have endometriosis, and there's I was starting to do treatments to help with my endometriosis. And I was thinking about taking steroids and was thinking about even having his kid. And we got into an argument, and in a fit of rage, he said, I want kids, just not with you. So it was just all this shit that he was saying. That's horrible to hear from someone you're with. Exactly. But I stayed. So then, of course, and people who are watching this and listening are going to be like, why did you stay? Why did you stay? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to admit it. I don't know. I don't know why I stayed, other than that was the first man that made me feel comfortable sexually. That is the only reason why I stayed with that man. Because he also told me that my bipolar was bullshit. It wasn't real. He also told me that depression was not a real thing. He also told me that he wasn't depressed when I could tell that he was deeply depressed. He told me that women often like exaggerate and lie about the experiences. He also didn't believe what happened to me because he had an ex-girlfriend who cheated on him and lied and said that she was raped. But then she was like, just was too scared to admit that. And so then and I was like, well, that sucks. But also like, I'm telling you the truth, you know?
Yeah.
So I had to defend women to this man. Like I had to do a lot of mental gymnastics. And I mean, I was so embarrassed to tell any of you guys this shit. Deeply embarrassed, especially on a podcast like this, where I feel like a lot of people who have come in my DMs being like, I love how strong you are. You're so independent. And I'm like, I feel like a failure. Like I felt like such an embarrassment that I stayed with that man for so long. And
don't be like, I think that it's sadly so common. I mean, even just like thinking about like with Morgan and stuff, I was like, I don't agree with any of like his shit, but like, why am I with this person? You know? And I think you like eventually find yourself kind of like Selena Gomez had to lose you to love me.
Love that song.
You know?
Love you, Selena. Selena, love her.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, if anything, it just makes you more, I mean, relatable, but also like,
yes.
You have like that experience.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For you to understand and have empathy for others.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And for yourself.
And I do think in a weird way, and we'll talk about friend breakups in a bit, but like one of my major friend breakups was with my friend Jackie, who I've known since 7th grade. I'm learning with this whole Moscow thing. I think a lot of our friend breakup actually had to do a lot with my relationship with Moscow. And that's where it comes back to my whole point of why moving forward, I would like the man to be a little further down the billing. I made Moscow my whole life. Like like you said, I love hard. I do love hard. I was loving hard with the wrong people.
Right.
And right now I'm exhausted.
I think it's okay to make a man who your whole life, you know what I mean? If it's like, if he's the person you're supposed to be with. I mean, like, for instance, like I have Brian, who is really my whole life, but he had to like essentially prove himself, or we had to prove to each other
exactly
that we were worthy enough to be able to like hold that space for each other.
Okay, with that logic, he wasn't immediately number one though. He was at 8 and 7.
Yeah.
And he worked his way up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need to work their way up.
And that is my
just, like,
whole thing though.
Yeah.
I was putting men at number 1. I was putting this man at number 1. And I was like, you didn't even earn the title, my bro.
Yeah.
You just jump forward because you're working against my trauma. That's cheating. You know, that's like emotional steroids at that point. So with this guy, Miller, that I'm like still dating and still seeing.
I've met, but didn't even know I met.
I know, it's so funny. Nina had a full conversation with our
boy. I didn't even get to talk to him.
It's okay. He's very shy.
Why the earth was flat.
He's very shy. Oh my God, we won't talk about that. But he's very shy. But like, I mean, I think I've been very vocal with him where I'm like, bro, I don't do this, you know, like I don't do this like dating thing. Like me and Miller have been talking for 6 months now. And I had a moment where I was like, I think I'm done. Like I spiral where I was like, nope, this is stupid. I don't know why I'm trying. I don't date. I'm not the girl that like things. And then kind of opened up to him and he was just like, well, what do you want? And I was like, honestly, I just like, I really do. I don't want to be friends with benefits. I just am kind of over that phrase, but I do want to date you to like get to know you. I would like to see where this goes, but I do not want people to be like, oh, so that's your boyfriend. You're going to end up. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to end up my boyfriend or he's going to end up a great story that I tell people later in life. I don't know shit, but I'm also not going to put pressure on it. I'm not going to say that there's only 2 ways out of this story with Miller. I'm just leaving it up to, I'm literally fucking around to finding out. I'm just enjoying my time that I have with this man.
Yeah. That's good.
I know that's not satisfying for a lot of people, but I think it's
why would it, who cares?
A lot of people do. A lot of people do care. People love as much as they pretend love labels. Because I have so many of my friends being like, so he's your boyfriend? And I'm like, he's not. The same way that was like the whole idea where Brooklyn, it was like, what are we? And everyone in the comments were coming for me being like, Rose, you're kind of being a bit. And I'm like, why does it matter? This is my dating experience. I don't think, and also this is unlike Brooklyn. Miller is on the same page as me. He's like, yeah, I'm down. I think you're cool. I really like you. We only see each other maybe 2-3 times a month because like he doesn't live that close to LA and like I'm hella busy with work and everything. But I mean, for the most part, I'm not on apps. I'm kind of talking to a lot of people, but I'm not really having sex with other people right now. And so it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm chilling and enjoying my company with this person. It just worries me how obsessed people are with this idea that dating with a desired outcome, dating for marriage, dating for a boyfriend, those are great. You can have those options. You can also just date until you get bored.
I think the best times I've had fun dating was when I was just like getting to know people. Yeah. Like even if it was just a first date.
Dating to make friends.
Even if it was just the first date and it was just like, look, I'm at a bar with some guy I've never even met.
I'm charming, I'm cute, I'm gonna impress him.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna meet some fucking guy and I'm gonna learn about his life.
And he's gonna think I'm so cool. Again.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a great story, and it was fine. No one's feelings were hurt. It was enjoyable.
Did I get tired of it sometimes? Yeah, because I felt redundant, of course.
Absolutely.
But like, recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
And then
take a break.
Out there. Yeah.
And so right now, I'm just like really enjoying my time with this dude. I really like him. I think he's super cute and fun. He is younger, and sometimes his age shows, and it's okay. But he's not like
young. He's not like
he's 5 years younger. That's not.
He's not like he's even like in his 20s. He's 30.
He's 30, but I mean, he was in his 20s a couple months ago. So
okay,
it's always that thing where
you're like, he just got here.
You just got to the party. Don't act like you know everyone yet. You know, but I mean,
his friend was acting like he knew everybody.
I mean, that was the best part. We won't talk about Miller's best friend. That is the funniest part in the entire world.
But that was smooth though. So just because they don't know, so we were at Rose's birthday party, which is the best birthday party ever.
Oh, thanks.
So much fun. But there was this guy, I was just walking past him. I guess we made some eye contact. It was Miller's friend. He was standing next to Miller, but
Jacob. We'll call him Jacob.
And Jacob, like, he was like, oh, you're not going to say hi? And I was just like, oh my God, wait. And I'm like thinking, like, I don't know who this man is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, have we met? He's like, no, but we could meet now.
Smooth.
And I thought that was pretty smooth, but it was like weird because I was like, okay, he's either gay because you know people are just friendly.
Yeah.
And this is Rose's party. Rose is just friends with friendly ass people.
Everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. So you either just maybe gay, just friendly, or maybe he's just being a nice guy. Yeah. Or maybe he's flirting with me and I haven't been flirted with in so long, so I can't tell.
Yeah.
But I introduced myself.
But yeah, Jacob is a smooth motherfucker.
Handsome.
He's a very
if I was single, I definitely would have been like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I was like, no, my boyfriend's here. I'm not about to do that.
Jacob had a lot of fun. He had a lot of fun at my party. He hooked up with someone. Yeah, he hooked up with someone later, but he's a fun time and he's a smooth. So that's why it's so funny because
hated his outfit.
And well, Miller was wearing the matching one. Yeah, they were costumes. They were high school costumes. They were matching. It was funny. And Miller is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Which I'm learning, I think is really funny because I feel like
you always go for nice or like really silent guys.
I love a strong silent type.
Like a Southern gentleman doesn't even speak.
How many? That man is so
I don't even
quiet.
know what his voice sounds like, but I've met him and I've talked to him a bunch of times. He's so nice. I don't, Moscow, I always felt like he hated me.
He hated himself. He did not hate you. He
didn't like me. He didn't like me, huh? He wasn't.
No, he actually really liked you. He did not like
the show.
He didn't like the show. He hated the show.
I had a feeling he hated the show. I got a vibe just from talking to him. I was just kind of like, but
he also hated sexual liberation. Yeah, he hated women that were sexually liberated.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
It's okay.
Yeah, he's married now, so
it's just funny because it's like I always like I had a friend who. She was like dating this one guy for a while, and after, and I always thought like we've all hung out, like I thought we was cool, whatever. But after they broke up, she told me that he didn't like me because I like dated black guys, which, okay, he was just racist.
Yeah, but that's just blatant.
Blatantly
Okay,
racist.
yeah, we're racist.
But I'm also just like, damn, like you were nice to my like face, but turns out you just didn't like me because you just thought I was
nice
like
racist. That's weird.
Right.
That's I don't like that. That's super
Be
fucked up and
racist
layered.
to my face.
Yeah, exactly. At least I could be like, okay, I know what
I
you
know
look
who
like,
the
you
fuck
Confederate
you are.
fucking flag. Like, just
You
keep it a
federal
copacetic.
fucking
But no, he definitely hated this podcast.
Yeah.
Because he hated the
'Cause
liberation
it's
of
yeah,
it.
the liberation. They don't want to, especially because it's like they see me liberated with black guys, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh, like my girl's gonna leave me
Yeah.
for a guy, which she actually ended up leaving his ass for someone else, and she's
See?
with him, and she's a lot happier with this motherfucking racist ass.
Just saying.
So
there you go. It's a win-win. But I do think, and I've even told guys where I'm like, look, I'm on this podcast, and it's one of my best friends that's the host of it and runs it, and like, look, it's you can literally, if you want to know anything about my dating history, my
Tune
guy,
in.
you're welcome.
There's a catalog.
Okay? There's a catalog. Go look at my discography. It's fine, you know?
Yeah.
But it's
Thirst Trap in 2018.
Oh yeah, it was 2018. Okay, but we've known each other a decade. It's so weird. Just kidding. But like in my heart.
Yeah.
In my
We've
heart,
known
I've
each
known
other
you
for
since
literally
forever.
like 20 years. It feels
26 years.
Okay.
Which is crazy because we're only 27, so it's wild. Anyways, but it like this podcast has also been, that's why I love it in general, is that it's become this thing where it's like, are you down or not? And the thing that I really like about Miller is he just seems really just like, yeah, of course. And then I think what I've also realized is introducing men that I'm like dating and seeing, it's so weird to say the word dating and not fucking, I almost want to say it, but men that I'm dating to my friends earlier on has actually really helped, because I think they get me or understand me better
when they see you with your people.
Yes. And especially
That's true, because you have such a like
an eclectic group of friends.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say an eclectic personality.
True. That's true. Yeah,
like, you're like, you're really like, you're like,
you don't know how to place me.
Yeah, I don't know how to place you. Yeah.
You're like, the gold
like
hoops,
if I just met you and didn't know like the people you surround yourself with, I'd be like,
what is this?
What is?
And you knew the show that I wrote for. Yeah,
in.
and you knew like the fact that I'm basically like Nina's daughter says I'm a big kid.
Yeah,
just a bigger version of them. This is what it is. So it's that kind of vibe.
Sense. Yeah.
So like seeing, I think that was like really great for Miller, because I feel like he was just like, shit, you have really good friends, and then to realize,
and they're like normal, they're
normal, they're fun, they're great.
Yeah, she's surrounded by like really great people.
Yes,
yeah,
and I think it even helped him like understand that I truly am like, I am who I say I am.
Yeah,
the fact that so many of my friends were like, oh, you're Miller, like she invited you, and him being like, oh wow, she really doesn't date. Like I think he just like, he was like, oh no, she's not just saying this shit, like this is a new world for her too. And we even had a conversation afterwards. Like he stayed afterwards, him and his friends stayed afterwards to help me put everything back in the garage.
We stayed late too.
Yeah, no, they left at like 2:30 in the morning or something, 2 or 3.
I left at like midnight.
Yeah, it was this one was a later one than I expected, but the rain I think messed with it and everything. Yeah. But like he
I was
stayed
just
afterwards.
cozy in your living room.
It was such a great party.
Yeah.
But I think I am now learning how to successfully date my way in my 30s, and it is me just being like, look, I'm dating to get to know this guy better, and all I ask is, me and him have the simple rules. His rule is that he was like, we're friends first, which I was like, cool, that's tight. I need to get to know you a little more to call you a friend, because I cherish and love my friend group. And then my whole thing is just, respect and communication. And so, I mean, he had a little moment where he sucked at communicating, but we've talked about it.
Yeah, but sometimes you just have to like.
He's a boy. They don't fucking know shit when it comes to communicating.
They're so dumb.
They don't ask questions. Men don't ask questions. I can't believe Brian lied to me. Brian made me think he was a question asker. He is not a question asker.
I mean, in what context though? Because he is.
Because he isn't. I sat down. You weren't here. You guys weren't here. We sat down. He goes, "How are you?" It's like, I'm great. How are you?
Because he's being nice and you just
but also like, but then we were like, and then I was like, how's work? And he's like, how's writing? Like we were having like an actual conversation. So then I was like, oh, Brian, you asked questions. So when you were like, he doesn't with his boys, I was like, oh yeah, like that. I'm telling you that Issa Rae TikTok really fucked with me when she was like, men don't ask questions. And that's why I think they're corny ass. Like they're not as good friends as women. Women just naturally
1000%. Like guy friendships. Like I'm not saying you can never have a deep guy. Obviously, there's whatever, but like women's friendships and dynamics is so like different, like for real, like than like men. Because even Nina, like Larry, like her boyfriend was just like, yeah, like I don't even have a lot of friends. Like the guys don't have, especially when they become like older.
They have the same.
They're like
friends.
dads and stuff, and like they're just like, yeah, I don't have friends. They just have like one or two that they call once every 2 months,
which is why,
but women, it's like we need like, that's why girlhood is like so powerful, because we need to call each other like every single day, at least one of us, or have that one person check in.
No, I get it, but this is why I feel like men need to have like a safer space in that. I want men to have deeper conversations and deeper friendships with their male friends. Like I want, like the fact that I was like, Brian, you didn't hold your shitty friend responsible for being a shitty husband. He was like, wasn't my business. And I was like, I literally almost fought a man outside of a club for Steph. Can I fight? Well, we would have found out that night if I could or not. But I'm just saying, like, that idea of like, but I do want men to understand how fucking important it is to have relationships as deep as women. Like, it's just, men are only speaking one language and women are speaking like 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it's just more enriching and more fulfilling if you can just like take that energy and just focus. And there's some guys that like, break out of it.
So like, I mean, for the most part, they're so black and white.
True, for the most part.
Like, they're just so simple. Unless
sports. Ready? Okay, well, sports for sure. If you have a guy friend that they've been friends since they were like kids.
Yeah.
Like the backyard podcast boys that are on TikTok, those two white boys that are in the basement boys. Just two white boys. They're great. I love them. Sorry. It's white people shit. I don't know. But it's like these two dudes, they're very funny, but they've known each other since they were like literally 5. And the bit is like one is more in love with the other. Yeah. And it's like they just seem to have such, they say things like, I want to kiss you right now. And he's like, bro, come on, don't. I want to kiss you too. Like, their dynamics seem so rich and pure and so deep because they've known each other since they were 5.
Yeah.
When you meet other boys, I feel like in high school and like, and then it's about competition and girls and it gets like weird. But anyways, I'm saying like deep friendships that you've known since you were kids. I feel like those in men, those are the like best.
For sure.
But anyways, I also feel like though, I don't know. I just think that men can learn a lot from women.
I agree.
It's just my takeaway. Yeah. There's just we're gonna
you need to go to like a Joe Rogan podcast and just talk about it. Yeah,
I'm not,
because like everyone here is like 98% women identifying. Everyone's like true.
Okay, everyone's agreed. Literally
like
nothing's gonna be
right.
I hate when someone agrees with me because then I'm like, well, where's the conversation going? It's over. Do you want to update on?
I guess we'll talk about because I wanted to do like a little bit of friendship update.
Yeah, friendship update
because the last episode that we did together, we ended on talking about what even happened. I'm like trying to.
Well, we were talking about the fact that you had reached out to the friend group.
Okay.
You had people reach out to you. You had one come back to you.
Yes.
You had your closure with them, and then the 2 were still undecided.
Yes. So basically, just a kind of reminder for people, I think this is also like something I've talked a lot about in the last couple of years, but maybe a little more in the past year, was just like my friendship breakups in general and just how I've been trying to like overcome that. And the biggest thing was, I don't know why they stopped talking to me. And they're, it's layered, there's nuance to certain things, but I never really got the answers. I really felt just like neglected and abandoned in my friendships with them. So one day I decided, like, finally, I decided to just like, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person. And that took a lot because I, for so long, was kind of like, nah, fuck that. Like, why do I have to be the person to like make peace or like to reach out? Like, why can't they reach out to me? Like, why do I have to be this person? And then eventually I just came to peace with like there's nothing wrong with being that person. And so I decided to there was 3 girls specifically, to reach out to them individually, and just wrote like a paragraph about how I would like to talk to them, and that, you know, there's a lot of just like, I don't unresolved things, and I don't want to I'm not trying to like be best friends again or anything like that, but I just want to continue our lives, not feeling this sense of like these question marks of like what happened, and like this resentment towards each other. Like I was tired of like carrying the weight of just like resentment, I guess, of just like I was mad at them, I was pissed, you know, and I just really wanted peace
and closure.
And so I understand that like not everyone deserves to give you closure, but I just felt like, you know, if I at least reached out, I would like, I know I did something. Like I can only take care of my actions, and I can't control anybody else's. So like, how is Steph gonna go about this? Like how can I live with myself on my actions? So I decided to reach out. One of them, I believe, texted me the day that we recorded. So I was like very emotional about it. And I haven't spoken to that girl specifically. And there was the 2 other girls. One of them, we decided to meet up for dinner. And we met up for dinner, I think that weekend or like the following weekend. And it was the weirdest thing ever. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever like broken up with a friend and haven't talked to them for like 2 to 3 years, and then to see them again, it was just like, I don't know, like in my head, I was like, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to like stand on my shit. I'm going to say my shit, you know, all that stuff. And as soon as I like saw her,
went out the window,
I just got so awkward.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't make eye contact. I like had to look at my menu. I was just like stuttering a bit. Like I was so weird. And so, and I was like catching myself like being really weird. And I was like, this is embarrassing. I can't be like a weirdo right now. So I was able to like kind of call it out. She's like, I'm sorry. This feels so weird. And she's like, oh no, like, trust me, it feels really weird for me too. Like this is like strange. And then I immediately started crying. Okay. I was like, jeez, like not even 5 minutes in, like nothing was really said. And I'm just like fucking bawling my eyes out.
Makes sense.
You know?
That tracks.
Right? So I was like, okay. So I started crying and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I'm just like I'm just really happy that like you're here. And she was, we need to give her a name. Her name is
Tina.
Tina's a good one.
I just rewatched Napoleon Dynamite. And that's why I changed my mind. Tina, come eat your food.
Tina. So Tina was like, no, like I want to cry too, but I just like don't want us to look like those people right now. And so,
you know what? Shout out to Tina. That's great.
Yeah. And so, you know, and honestly, like she's always,
the waiter like comes back. Oh, come back.
I know.
You're still deciding. Okay,
yeah,
great.
Exactly. And I'm just like, I can't control my tears. Like if they're out,
they're out. Yeah.
They're out. Like I can't hold it in. But she's just a lot stronger than me, I guess. Like she has more of a whatever. And so I was just very awkward and crying and couldn't even really like articulate anything. And I just said, you know, how about you start? Because I feel like I've been a lot louder, you know? And so it's like we all know how I feel. So like let's start with you. And so she's like, no, I appreciate that, you know? And so, because it's true. Like, I've been on this podcast. Like, I've been fucking promoting this fucking episodes. I'm making clips about it. Like, people are like, I am fucking loud. Okay? Yeah. Everyone knows how I feel. Yeah. Okay? So it's like,
you should really form an opinion. I don't think you have yet. I think you should choose a side.
I don't think you processed.
I think you're undecided voter number 2. Okay?
Right.
Like, you haven't processed.
You haven't really been like open about your feelings.
Yeah, no.
You're not really vulnerable.
Closed shell. Okay, yeah. Got it.
And so, and I was like, you go, because clearly I've had enough here, you know? And so she just, you know, first off, like apologized. And, you know, and she talked about like, I'm going to kind of like briefly go over this conversation because there's so much like individual stories and nuances and things that like need backstories.
Yeah.
It's just too much to like encompass in like 20 minutes.
It's the Marvel universe.
It's the Marvel universe. Literally, it is. Like we were laughing about how it's like this civil war of like friendships, and there's just so many storylines and other characters that have their own storylines, you know, and so it is like a Marvel
CW. I blame the CW.
If it was like if Mean Girls was like a Marvel movie, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different groups and situations, and anyways. So she apologized for this one specific thing and was just like, I never meant to, for instance, like inviting me to her 30th birthday. Like all of them were invited and I wasn't. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like this was before we stopped being friends. So I was like very confused. But she was just like, just wanted to apologize for that. You know, like I understand like your pain. She's like, and she just admitted saying that the reason why I wasn't invited is because at that moment she didn't really feel like we were close anymore. She's like, I just invited people who I talked to like every day to a small trip. It wasn't anything that was like super extravagant. And I just was like, just invited the people that were like in my close connection. And I just didn't think that like we were friends like that anymore. And so, and she's like, and I kept trying to find like another excuse. Like I even was like, okay with you blaming, because I was also blaming another girl. I was like, she didn't invite me because I know she planned it. She's like, I even was just like, shit, should I just blame it on her just to have some sort of out?
Oh wow, that was big of her to admit
that.
Okay.
She's like, but she's like, it has nothing to do with, we'll call her Tiffany because that's the first person I have a problem with that I sent the message to, but we haven't spoken. We just sent that long text and we're fine. But she's like, yeah, like it's not Tiffany's fault. She didn't try to exclude you or anything like that. It's just simply just I forgot, you know, which I know that is painful to hear. And she's like, but that was just what happened. And so I was like, thank you for apologizing and for being honest, you know. And then we just talked about like everything else. And how do I talk about this, Nina? Okay, I'll say it in a very vague way. So basically, like the girls were. So what happened with her?
Oh my God.
So I know what happened was. So basically, she mentioned, she's like, we went on, you know, so-and-so's bachelorette trip, and I thought we were all got on great. And she's like, I was even thinking like, oh my God, I'm bonding with Steph again. And then I hear you go on a podcast about how you don't want to be friends with us anymore. And I'm just really confused on why you would do that. And so, and I get to it, you know, and then she's like, and then afterwards, I'm like, okay, fine. She doesn't want to be my friend anymore. Like that, like fucking sucks. And I asked her, I was like, did you listen to the episode? And she said, no. So she only heard it from what Tiffany had summarized for her. Oh. And Tiffany kind of has it out for me. I have like a very different relationship with her, which I'm not going to get into. But so I, at least at that time, really felt like she had it out for me. And so I was just like, okay, because if you listen to the episode, it wasn't about like, oh my God, I had the worst time with them or anything like that. It was just like during that bachelorette and coming home. And I told her this too, was like, I was crying on the flight home because I was realizing like how much I was outgrowing my like friendships. Yeah. And it doesn't take away that like I don't love these people or I don't want to be friends with them.
But you were grieving.
Like, I was grieving. One, that I was grieving my friendships, but I also was grieving my past self. I felt like my past self.
Fuck, that's hard.
Yeah, like I felt like my past self was like so much more fun and energetic and like, you know, would have loved that trip because it was just like so, like it was just all about drinking and having fun. And like the new person I was becoming was just like, I don't really like to do those things, you know? I like
death of the party girl.
Yeah, it was the death of the party. Like I was this extreme party girl that was just like who I was to now being like, oh my God, I don't want to drink. I'm like, my social battery, because it wasn't just a bachelorette trip. The bachelor and his like friends were there too. So imagine it being like 20 fucking people.
It literally was like Love Island.
It literally was Love Island. No, guys, it was literally
with a married couple.
Right.
Or soon to be married.
Yeah, it was like a married, because it wasn't just a bachelorette trip. It was like a bachelor trip too. So it was like guys and girls there. So it's just like, it was so, and everyone was great. And I did have a fun time, but it's like my social battery just is different. Like I didn't have a time to be alone or recharge and just like take a nap or whatever. Like I just was overwhelmed. I was overly stimulated. I felt like I was outgrowing friendships. And mind you, like I was also going through a lot of shit at that time too. I felt like I was on the verge of getting fired. Plus I was living with fucking Vincent, who wasn't paying his motherfucking rent. Yes, I said your motherfucking name because I don't give a fuck anymore. He wasn't paying his fucking rent. So I'm like, am I going to lose my job, my fucking house? Yeah. Plus I don't like hanging out with all these fucking people. Like I was losing it. And I was telling her that, you know? And so, but to her, obviously, like they're seeing, and I understand, like totally get it. Like they're seeing like, oh, she's talking, not wanting to be my friend, whatever. We're starting to be friends with her. And then it was like around Christmas time, they had a holiday party, didn't invite me. I like texted them and was like, y'all are great fucking friends. Thanks for the fucking invite. And then, and they're like, well, we heard on the podcast, so you don't want to be friends with us. Da, da, da. And again, taking it out of context, because it's like, there's so much more. It's not just like, fuck you guys, I don't want to be your friend. It's like, it was a battle within myself, you know? And, and I just wish if she would have like, at least heard me out, like
done her research,
called me, you know, instead of just like jumping to conclusion.
Well, that in itself is an answer. The fact that she didn't want to investigate more, she also probably didn't want to admit. No, I think it was step at a point. I don't want to be friends with her either. You know what I mean? It was probably a good
excuse out. You know?
Yeah, exactly. The same way that she admitted, I like excuses because I was ready to blame Tiffany for not inviting you to the first one. So it's just her default mode, which is a defense mechanism, and completely fine. That's just how she rolls.
Yeah. And so, you know, and so, but on their end, obviously they don't know what's going on in my mind. And I don't even think I was really like able to articulate that. Like, I haven't listened to the episode because I can't, but I'm sure there are some things that could hurt their feelings. It hurts to hear that, like 1000%. I also don't think I was in a place that was like able to articulate what I was going through. Like I don't think I was even fully processed or understanding of that. So, you know, they had that party, I called them out, and then, you know, there was like some back and forth, and eventually Tina was like, you know, and I told Tina, I was like, look, like I love you forever. Like you could always call me out, pick up, like, let's talk, whatever. And she's like, love you too. Yeah, like, we'll talk. So, and she told me, she's like, I had every intention to talk about it with you. And then, like, a month later, something unfortunate happened with one of the other girls.
Oh, yes, I know about this.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Something very fucked up happened. Yep.
And that was obviously out of my control, had nothing to do with me, but something fucked up happened to this person. And I put out another episode just about like how sad I am about all these friendships, whatever. So she just was telling me, I just think the timing of that was fucked up. Like she was going through this and you had the nerve to put out an episode talking about how you felt about her and all of us. And she's like, I just couldn't. She's like, if anything, I just was like, who is this person? Who's Steph? Who is this? You know, and she's just like, she's like, and seeing this person really go through it and how much you've hurt them, I was just like, I can't be around.
I'm sorry. I'm just having this realization, real fucking quick.
Yeah.
And please shoot it down if I'm wrong. subconsciously, without you realizing, has any of this actually maybe been the root of why you needed to take a pause from this podcast?
No.
But I'm only saying that because it seems as they've used your podcast as a weapon against you and have used it as this is your platform. This is how you express yourself. And they have done it. Well, you did episode 1, you did episode 2, and then you did a badly timed episode 3, which, by the way, you did before the bad thing happened. And it was just pure coincidence that the 2 lined up. Again, I said it on the podcast. I was like, that was a pure coincidence. And they're putting way too much.
I don't think it was like, I think her thing happened and then I came out after.
Yeah, but the idea that then like she listened to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is a pure coincidence that she had the time to then listen to it after, you know what I mean? Like, but I look like, even though, and I'm not defending, but I'm just saying in this, they're weaponizing something that you really like in this podcast. And they're almost like, if I was a listener, I'm just playing on the other side, I would say, then stop talking about them on the podcast. Do you want to?
I think, like, it's not, that's the thing. It's like, it's not even about like talking about them. I think like, I mean, yeah, it is talking about them, right? That's just what it is. But
because
it's like,
they're making it bite you in the ass.
But I don't think that's the reason why I took a break, though.
No, but
did it help? No, but that was saying, like, there's so much more.
You took a break for many different reasons.
Yeah,
but in a weird way, I just wonder.
I don't think so.
Okay,
because I would have done it a while ago.
Okay,
that was the reason.
Okay, you can take.
But
that
I could see how that could be like a concern. But that I don't really think that was. I think there was other things that were driving me crazy, that more crazy than this and what they think. Because if anything, like, I don't think that would like affect me to not want to like.
So then, what means more to you then? The podcast or this friend group?
Whoa.
If I'm just only asking that because it feels like they really are like they're taking the thing you love and using it against you.
Yeah, no. I think at this point, it like the podcast, and not because it's like, oh, the podcast. It's like it's me choosing for myself, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's me because it's more than just talking about them. It's like something that I love, you know? And so I will say that, like, moving forward, it has taught me that, like, maybe I need to go about things a little differently. Like, if I've ever, God forbid, I hope this never happens again, but if I ever go through a similar thing where it's like a friendship situation, you know, like, I'm not, like, if I could go back, I wish I wouldn't have impulsively did that. And not that I regret talking about it, because I think, like, it's important to talk about friendship breakups. And I think I've had an enormous amount of people being like, thank you for talking about it, you know, because it's helped them. And also it's helped me in a lot of ways. But I think that, like, moving forward, I should go talk to a therapist first before I impulsively come on here and do that here, you know? And, like, I think that I would have still talked about it, but I would have probably went about it a little less emotionally.
It's growing.
You know,
it's a growing pain.
Like, as much as, like, yeah, this is broco therapy. This is my, and it is. And I could still, like, utilize that, you know, but I think because there's so many people and people that I care about involved, I have to be mindful of that. So that's, like, my lesson that I learned from it was, like, it does impact other people. And sometimes it impacts people that you love. And, like, it's not going to make me stop this show. It's just going to make me, like, okay, I have to go about things differently.
Reevaluate.
And I think, like, to be honest, one of the things about me that isn't the greatest is, like, how impulsive I could be, especially when I'm emotional.
Facts. Yeah.
And
fair,
so
same.
I think, like, I just need to make sure that I don't do that, because especially when it's loved ones involved.
Yeah, you gotta just know when to reel
it in. Like, I need to, like, unpack it first in therapy or whatever, let it out somewhere else, process it, you know, versus, like, doing it here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like I would still talk about it, but I would have went about it differently.
So then where did you two end up?
So we really just talked about, I mean, everything. And I listened to her and was able to kind of like, and then she gave me the space to just say my truth. And I was honest. I was like, I don't think you've ever even supported the show. You never asked me about it. You never even like showed up to any shows, never bought any merch, never even liked a fucking video. Yeah. You like,
you listen it through people, but you don't listen to it yourself.
Like, you know, I was like, you were at one point one of my best friends and you never once showed any like support. And I even asked, you don't have to buy merch or do the most, but like
Nina's literally sitting on the floor
literally
right now. I mean, literally sitting on the floor.
But to like ask and be like, how's your, like, how's the show going? Like, how is it? Like, not once. Acts like it doesn't even fucking exist. So I was able to tell her, and she had nothing to say that because it's true. So,
yes, but also to kind of understand where she's coming from. I mean, to my point, she also saw it as a source of her pain. She's like,
I mean, she said it too. She's like, I had to block you because it really was painful to see the clips and the stuff that you were saying about me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I couldn't take it anymore. Like, it was fucking up my mental health. And, you know, and she did a great, for me, I saw a lot of growth talking to her. Like, I felt like she
that's really good.
Really to hear. like was a really grown up version, a mature person from like the last time I've like, been friends with her. So I was really happy to see that. I was like, okay, I think we're in a good place to talk about this. Cause maybe before we just weren't, you know, like maybe I wasn't mature enough. She wasn't mature enough or whatever it was. But like, I really felt like she was super mature, which is like such a good feeling because, you know, sometimes you like, not to throw any names, but sometimes you like reach out to someone and you're like, hey, and they're like the same fucking person. You're like, oh, you haven't like changed. You're still kind of crazy.
Still a cunt.
You're still a cunt.
You're still an asshole. Okay,
still
cool.
Great, fucking asshole. But like with her, I felt like she's grown up a lot, you know? And I don't think Tina's a bad person at all. Has she said mean things? Yes. Has she done bad things? Yeah. But I think truly who she is, like to the core, is like a good person.
She's not a bad person. She's just done bad things.
She's just done bad. And like, that's all of us. We
all have, yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think we just came to the conclusion that like, there's no good or bad guy in this situation. It's like, it's so nuanced. And I think we've all hurt each other.
Yeah.
Like everyone was hurt.
Yeah. There's no hero or villain.
There's no hero or villain. Like everyone was hurt.
And that's why closure's so tricky.
Right.
Because you're like, who deserves it the most? What does it look like?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think like in this scenario though, it was because she was even like, so where do we go from here?
Well,
like,
yeah, because it's like, that's the other thing about closure is that like, okay, sure. If we agree that like we both hurt each other and then we move forward, we're not allowed to talk about the stuff before then. Because forgiveness is the act of forgiving someone and then changing your actions. And that means that I'm not going to use the stuff that you hurt me in the past with as an excuse to then berate you in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I just told her, I was like, look, I'm not expecting anything. I don't expect you to like hit me up all the time and invite me to all the places or to be best friends. Like you know,
I just need to be cool.
Like, it's just good to know that there's like this peace and we've said what we said and we were honest with each other. And like, if we run into each other, it's like, we could say hi, you know? And it's like, and if we build a friendship again, like incredible, amazing. Like I'm open to that, you know, but I'm not going to force anything. She's not going to force anything. And like, I'm sure one day, like if I, you know, feel like it or if she feels like it, we will like have lunch again or something, you know, like it's just, it really was like so peaceful.
That's beautiful.
And so it was just like, oh, thank God. Because she was just like, I don't want to fight anymore. She's like,
I'm tired.
She's like, I'm tired. I don't have like, she's like, I just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, I really don't. And, you know, and I was just like, same. And so I like.
You made peace.
That's
great.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
I'm so happy too. And then the third girl, this one's quicker, guys, story. This is a quicker story. But Nathan was having a comedy show and he invited me and I went, and he also invited her. but she didn't confirm if she was going or not. So Nathan didn't tell me like, oh, so-and-so is going to be here. Let's call her
Rebecca.
Okay. And so I'm sitting there like, you know, in the comedy show, whatever. And I see Rebecca like walk through the door and I immediately was like, oh my God. And we like smiled and said hi and we like caught each other and we're like, oh wait, we're mad at each other.
Shut up.
Like we forgot.
This is why I kind of love girlhood.
Yeah.
Weird shit like that. That's some like, bro, we good?
Right.
I mean, are we? I don't know.
And this one specifically with Rebecca, I had the least issues with. I think my only issue is that like, I think I felt the closest to her and I felt really hurt that she just kind of like
cut you off.
Cut you off and went on the other girls.
She kind of followed everyone else.
Yeah. And I'm
Rebecca
just like,
wasn't like standing
like
on her own.
Yeah. Like we was like,
wow,
cool.
that's hilarious.
But like we saw each other and we like were so excited and we're like, oh wait, we're mad at each other. And then we just laughed and she's like, we'll talk, you know? And then the show happened afterwards. She was just like, I am so happy to see you. And like, just know. And I started crying again. I'm like, fuck. And she's just like, she just doesn't cry like easy like that. But she's like, I'm just so happy to see you. Like, just know that like, I'm just so happy you texted me. Like, I really want to like talk things out. And like, you know, and she's like, I'm just so happy to see you. And like, you know, we don't have to talk about it now, but like, I really would like want to have dinner and just really talk it out and everything. And so, and we like, after the comedy show, went to a bar with Nathan afterwards and like and Cindy, our friend. And we hung out like till like 1 or 2 in the morning or something. Like we had raisin cake. Like it was we had the best time. And we didn't talk about it. We were just like, we're going to eventually talk about it. And it was good that we like acknowledged it, but we're just like, but tonight's not the night to talk about it because we're here for Nathan and it's just not the vibe right now. Yeah. So but we had like the best time.
That's amazing.
And I was like, I love this bitch. So, but I haven't seen her since because I've just been really fucking busy.
Holidays. It's a weird time.
So yeah. But I'm also kind of like, I'm not rushing it. Like I know I'm going to see her again. I know it'll happen. So, but I'm just good to know that like we're at peace, you know? So that's the update. Great. And I feel like going through that and then taking a break from the show was just like,
that's the only reason why I made the comparison, because I was like, you know, there's a lot of things that we make choices that are completely subconscious, you know, there's surface level reasons and then there's deeper reasons. And then there's ones where we're like,
not doing a show wasn't because of that. I feel like it's like another extra layer of like thing I needed to like.
If anything, I think they just represent that sometimes, as we've learned, this show can be, you know, used against us in but negative ways. You know what I mean? Like whatever you say on a podcast will follow you forever. You know what I mean? How many people have been dragged on the internet because of something they said on a podcast years ago? You know what I mean? And so that shouldn't stop you from doing something you really like. But I just like as you were talking, I was like, God, that's the third time they've said, well, you said something on your podcast. And I was like, I wonder if
I should have said it to them. And I mean, in hindsight, I told him, I was like, you guys were not leaving me the space. Sorry. I keep saying that because it's like that meme right now with Ariana Grande. but they weren't. They weren't like, there wasn't that like kind of open communication or like that safety net, you know. But at the same time, it's like, I should have just grown some fucking balls and said something, you know? And like
ovaries. I like ovaries.
Ovaries.
Yeah.
Ovaries.
Yeah.
I should have just like been like, well, fuck all this shit. What the hell's going on? This is how I feel, you know?
Yeah.
I should have been more direct and more like standing on business of how I felt versus like.
But also you learned.
But I learned. I'm not like, I can't take it back. It happens. It's just like how moving forward, how I'm going to like navigate it. It's just going to be different, you know? And so, yeah, I just have to be like, I just be careful not to hurt. Because I don't want to like lose more friends and lose more loved ones because like, I couldn't tell them to their face and just started whining on a show, you know?
Yeah. No, I get
like,
it. It's layered. I get it.
Like it should do that. So
no. But I mean, what a great way to also end this very special episode. It is such a great way to like end the kind of like experience closure, but also are experiencing a really cool beginning with these girls again.
Yeah.
It's just starting over.
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like refreshed.
yeah, whole new year, whole new you. There's gonna be, I was gonna say a political statement, but I will not.
We won't go there.
Going there, you guys.
I lost
everything's
so
political.
many followers.
Because I'm gonna keep those thoughts to myself. I'm just gonna.
I lost like fine. Because I had an opinion about.
Because you care about women's reproductive rights. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna I'm gonna keep.
Yeah, just I'm upset about whatever. Y'all know where I stand. It's okay. But there's just people who were like, okay. I guess there was about 60 to 80 Republicans that needed to just exit. But I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I know there's some other Republicans that still are with it too. Like, who gives a fuck? Like we're all here.
Everything's political. Sorry,
everything's political. But we're just here. Just to show love. We're here
just trying to sell dildos and
okay. Should we
plug ourselves?
Yeah. Time to plug yourselves. Okay.
You can still find me at Rosetta Stone on Instagram and Threads. I deactivated my Twitter because I think Elon Musk is a piece of shit and that we should stop respecting.
So you're never gonna get a Cybertruck?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to get a garbage truck. That car looks like it was literally drawn by a 5-year-old who was asked, draw a car from memory. Yeah. That's what that car looks like to me. A 5-year-old being told, what does a car look like? And he's like, okay, hold on. Hear me out. And no, fuck Elon Musk. He's a piece of shit. So stop, get off Twitter. Anyways, you can also find me on the new blog on theblock.com.
Aww. Yay. And then follow me, Stefanie Maegan, or go to brooklynTherapy.com. All that shit is there. And I will be back. I don't have the date yet, but sometime in Feb. Woo! But I'm just going to enjoy the holidays, enjoy the first month of
your birthday.
Yeah. And also, I'm making a bunch of changes.
Are you chopping it all off?
No, fuck that.
Oh, damn. That would be cool.
Because I chopped it off last year and I regret it.
Okay, fair.
But yeah, anyways. Love ya.
Love you. Bye.
Girl therapy.